our culture is like much more likely to punish the child to death than go after the rapist.
Yeah, unfortunate, but
So we're trying to change that.
we should probably change that before we actually go against the woman herself.
Well, we're not going against women. Like no one should,
Not
blanket.
going against women, but like if she so chooses to not have a child, but she can't, like in Oklahoma, if I were to get pregnant and I don't want children,
Yeah. But what would you do? Like in Oklahoma?
I just go out of state.
Yeah,
Get
just
an
go out of state.
abortion, Probably.
So.
I have reasoning behind me not wanting a child.
But can I just challenge you just a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but
No,
yeah. If you are with child, you have a child.
Yeah.
So abortion isn't sort of choosing not to have a child. It's choosing to terminate the child that you have.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the things we're trying to change is the willingness of people in our culture to devalue humans to the point where when they have one and they've produced offspring, they think, oh, I got to get an abortion. And as you said, you live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
One.
Abortion is banned completely here, right?
No, well, so it's like what you said. So most people are, either going to drive out of state,
Yeah.
which you said immediately.
Yeah.
2 hours.
I've already thought about all of this. So.
Yeah. So that ban in Oklahoma doesn't really stop you from getting an abortion.
I don't think stopping abortions would stop abortions anyways.
Yeah, but I'm saying the ban that they've put in place in Oklahoma, it doesn't actually protect the child inside your womb. Yeah. So we're for laws. We think laws are good if they help. But in this instance, we're for something greater, and that is like a change inside of your heart to where, like, if you found that you were with a child, you'd say, oh no, I'm a mother now, and I can't murder the little human being that's being knit together in the womb.
Maybe some people do think that, but I know that I don't even like kids in general.
Well,
the actual ones that are here running around. Me being a mother is not a good thing. I can't be a mother.
Well, I think you probably can. You just gotta grow a little bit, but the sentiment, like, if the sentiment abortion is okay because you don't like kids, which is, I would say that you're being a very honest person, and that's awesome, because most of the time people say people aren't getting abortions because they don't like kids, and you're saying straight up, I would get an abortion.
I'm not. I don't have motherly instincts.
I live in Oklahoma. I know it's banned. You still can take abortion pills in Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma legislature will protect you.
Oh, really?
That's like what
are abortion pills?
Well, like, you can take a pill to kill a baby up to 12 weeks in your womb. That's how most abortions are done in the first trimester.
Yeah.
So yeah, abortion numbers, the pro-lifers, we're not part of that movement, but the pro-lifers are generally going to say, we've banned abortion. But we know what you're saying is true. No, people are going to go get abortions out of state. It's not that difficult.
I'd stay at home.
At home, yeah.
I just personally think it's really dangerous for the woman.
But get this, you know who it's most dangerous for?
The child?
The child. Yeah, it's lethal.
Well, they won't know.
Even if they don't know. Murder isn't wrong because people know about it. Then it'd be okay to murder people in their sleep.
That's also true.
But what if so I'm a Christian. I'm assuming
I'm not a Christian.
You're not a Christian. Yeah, I'm assuming you're not a Christian. I'm a Christian. So we have different worldviews.
Yeah. And
my worldview, informed on the Bible, is going to basically say the reason that human beings are valuable and that no human has the right to terminate another human is because the human is made in the image of God. And this is the foundation of human rights. So it's this belief that man's made in the image of God that does away with the slave trade.
Yeah.
It does away with slavery. You don't have man made in the image of God, you don't do away with chattel slavery. So even people who are not Christians today should be thankful for Christians that we do stand up and say, hey, when 98% of the culture thinks that this evil's okay, we're going to stand up and say, no, it's wrong. It's contrary to the truth.
It could be wrong. I mean, I understand your point. Even though I'm not a Christian, I understand that you guys really think that the child, deserves a life.
Yeah.
but also not everyone should be parents. And the people who don't want kids and who choose to have an abortion, I don't think they should have a child to raise
But
because they don't want it.
Yeah. So you're talking as though they haven't conceived a child yet.
Yeah.
So if the plan is to not have children, there's ways to not have children.
Yeah.
And abortion isn't one of those. Abortion is a way to kill a child.
Yeah.
You have a
my
child and
boyfriend
then you don't.
actually has a view on that. He doesn't like abortion used as a means of birth control.
Yeah.
You know, someone messes around, they get
Yeah.
pregnant, they
Yeah.
immediately go get abortion, they do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't think you should use
Yeah.
it as a form of birth control. But I think for the ones who like me don't want kids, I don't think I'd be a good mother.
Yeah.
Okay, like let's say I did have a child.
Which it actually hurts. I want you to go back to what you're saying, but like, you know what? You're young.
Yeah, and I am young.
You can grow up.
I could grow
like
up. But
the important thing for you now would be to not conceive a child, so you
Yeah.
don't even have to choose to abort. Because in the future, say you aborted a child because you didn't like children, and then you grew up and realized that was murder, and you had that murder on your conscience, and then of course you'd have to repent of that, and Christ could forgive you of it. But the important thing is just to not conceive a child.
Yeah,
And
I trust me, I'm doing my very best to not conceive a child, and I am on birth control, so
Yeah. Well, but birth controls, you don't know. Sometimes you may be conceiving children, and the birth control is causing an abortion, a failure.
I think they technically do.
It can cause the failure of the newly conceived human to implant.
Yeah.
So you may have actually been a mother many times, but see your choice, the way you're thinking, I just don't want to choose to be a mother. Like you could already be a mother. If you become pregnant, you are a mother, and having an abortion isn't you choosing not to be a mother. You're going to be a mother for the rest of your life. You're just the mother of a murdered baby.
Any other person that looks at a woman is gonna assume that that's gonna be a mother eventually.
Well, maybe. What I'm just saying is that like you gotta change your thinking to know that like abortion isn't something people do to keep from becoming mothers. It's something they do as mothers to be unloving to their children. Because it doesn't change. Like a woman who has an abortion is a mother who's murdered a child.
And if that woman who doesn't love the child and chooses to kill the child, but then can't and has a child, that child is going to be unloved. They're going to be neglected. They're going to be maybe abused.
So just kill them first.
So, I mean, would you rather the child be born and...
No, I'd rather the child be born and loved. I do think people that...
does, of course, but...
I get it that people who may choose abortion are more likely to abuse their children if they're born, but I don't think the answer is... Like, so I think there are a lot of poor people that need help, but I don't think the answer is just killing them all.
Okay.
But that's the logic. Someone could have a bad life, so let's just kill them. Your life could be bad because you're getting killed.
It's not that. It's the mother. It's the mother that I'm looking at. You're looking at like I think that's what we see different. You're looking at like the child's point of view.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the mother who's already here.
Well, I think we should look at both.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't just think, let's help the mother by allowing her to murder. I think we should help the mother by protecting her from doing something that is going to just destroy her spiritually.
I mean,
or psychologically, emotionally.
Okay.
Because murdering people, I would rather, sorry, are you cool?
No, I was holding it, and
I was like,
my hands are like...
Yeah. Sorry. Like, I would rather be murdered than murder someone. Because I don't want to be a murderer.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would be, I don't want to live, I don't want to wake up. I mean, I think that there are murderers who are forgiven and they're set free from that. But if you were today, like you're saying, the trajectory of my life today, do you want to be someone who killed a 2-year-old because you didn't want them around? Or are you someone who would rather be killed defending a 2-year-old?
Well, the 2-year-old's already here, and they're 2.
So you think that the baby that's aborted isn't here?
Not technically, no.
Well, why do you have to abort them if they're not there?
Because they're technically there, I guess.
They're technically there. The thing is they're there, they're small.
But like, okay, you mentioned that, but if we really did think abortion was murder, abortion would have never been a thing in the first place.
Nah,
It's to protect the woman. It's So
No, we're very willing to legalize things that are evil and wrong, if the culture all likes them.
I can agree with that.
Like, I mean, it's like we do live in a
agree with that.
country where you used to be able to buy and sell people
Yeah, that
on
is true.
auction blocks. You could sell somebody's mother to some man who wanted to rape her,
Yeah.
and it was legally protected. And so, of course, abolitionists stood up and said, you can't do this. And then when they talked to non-abolitionists, not being mean to you, I'm not saying you would be for slavery.
Obviously, I of all people probably wouldn't be for slavery.
Well,
But
but you might not be for slavery, but you might be against the people who want to criminalize it. Because that's what the abolitionists wanted to do. They wanted to make it a crime to steal people and treat them like animals.
yeah,
And so most of the people in the culture were like, even the anti-slavery people were like, listen, I'm anti-slavery, but this whole criminalizing slavery, like, no, let's just get the slaveholders better economic situations so they can pay their slaves. Or let's just make it easier for slaves and all that kind of stuff. And the abolitionists were like, no, this is a sin our nation's committing against all these people, and we're at odds with Almighty God.
that also it helps the so quote unquote slaves, and abortion helps the women. So why?
How does abortion help women?
No, why? It does help some women, like
How?
I don't know, like any woman,
Like-
any girl, any female that's on this planet, it could help them. Like I
Yeah.
understand.
I can see them
like,
saying
a
it helps
grown,
them. Yeah.
A grown woman, right? Let's say.
Kind of.
And you mentioned about like being a murderer or like on their mind, but I think
Yeah, on their soul.
there could be women who want kids, like when they get older, but then they get pregnant, like
Yeah.
say 16, 17, they have an abortion. That's still going to be on their mind, and it's still going to hurt them.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, doing this kind of work, I know the gamut of people.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who have had abortions and they're no longer for abortion because of what it did to them, but they don't agree with me that it's a sin. So they still think that what they did was justified because like the man made them do it or like culture made them do it, but they still carry it. So I'm saying, like, regardless of what anyone feels, because your point that some woman somewhere is going to be helped by it, well, if her chief thing in life is like moving to New York and becoming a clothing designer or something like that, or playing in the WNBA, and a child's going to get in the way of that,
The child is going to get in the way.
right. So she sees abortion as helping her, but that's because she values being in the WNBA more
Exactly,
than
more than a child.
more
If
than a
she
child.
Had the child,
Yeah.
and she was still in the NBA, that child would probably be selected. So it's
So-
better for her
so-
to not have the child.
So on
to
that
have the
thinking,
child.
you agree that that means therefore that abortion is child sacrifice.
Whoa,
And think about it.
that's crazy.
It's child sacrifice.
I think there's probably two health
For the
districts.
WNBA,
Well, for any, so I wanted to do this thing, whatever it be,
because
the WNBA,
yeah,
but the baby would keep me from doing it. But if I kill the baby, I can do this thing.
yeah,
So I sacrifice the baby so that I can pursue this thing that I think is better than being a mother.
well,
The problem is they are a mother of a murdered child that is now playing basketball for a very small viewership.
hey, you know, if all children go to heaven, right? Isn't that like y'all?
Sure, but I don't think that where they go isn't
They'd
our
probably
concern.
be better up there than they would be down here being.
Well, so would you, but I'm not going to murder you. Well, right now I don't think
mean,
you're
if
going to
you
heaven,
do,
but
it happens.
but-
I can't. I'm walking around
Listen.
every day risking my life.
listen, I would rather be in heaven than here. To die would be gain for me, but I don't think it would be therefore permissible for someone to kill me.
Yeah.
It should be against the law to kill people.
Yeah.
So it's not really about where people go, it's about
How
what-
they go.
no, not how they go, but what people are allowed to do. Instead of thinking about just the child that's being murdered, think about the mother who's doing the murder. It's not always a mother, it's sometimes the father. Sometimes the father will make her take an abortion pill she doesn't even know about. Or sometimes he'll so encourage her.
And that's horrible.
But it's men and women, grandparents, people, culture, whatever it is. But the whole fact of the matter is it's choosing to terminate a human being is the thing that we think is the thou shalt not part.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not murder. Now, our society agrees with Christians when you're talking about born people.
So you guys are
but not unborn people. But what's the difference?
Started, yeah. So he's from Norman. He
I'm
graduated
pretty
from
sure
Norman. That's
it's
kinda where
technically,
it all
they're
started.
technically called a fetus. They're not
Honestly,
even
our
told.
podcast-
Well, yeah, human fetus. I'm okay with you killing like a pig fetus.
Direct lobbying.
Oh, you're okay with that, but we can't kill.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if there's like a, yeah, like the point is the human part. Like everyone is generally like, so you blink hard enough, you're killing little eye lobsters, you know. So it's like, it's not just that a thing's alive that makes it important. It's what is the thing? What is the creature we're talking about? Is it an image-bearing creature, or is it a non-image-bearing creature?
That's what we give to kind of abortion supporters. Here's what we give to kind of pro-life people.
Well, he does love all, but there's
he only wants everything else.
well, no, there's no prohibition on you against killing plants. Like you're allowed to kill plants.
Yeah, we're allowed to kill animals.
Yeah, you're allowed to kill
We're
animals.
allowed to kill baby animals. We're allowed to put dogs down.
Yeah. Theologically,
Why can't we do
Yeah,
that?
I just wanted to say.
because a human and a dog are different.
Child?
And some people are ashamed to say that, but we all know it's true.
I hope a human and a dog are different.
They are different.
They're treated.
I was just meaning, so when you said fetus, well, fetus is just a description of the stage. That's from 9 weeks in the womb to birth.
Yeah, and
You're in a
they're-
fetal
and
stage.
Technically, a doctor, not a doctor, but technically a doctor won't even perform the abortion. You can't get an abortion after a certain amount of time, anyways.
Well, that's sadly not true. A lot of abortionists will kind of cut it off at some point. But for instance, when you say, you said I would drive out of state.
Yeah,
So
if
Wichita,
I caught it in time.
like, well, you don't really have to catch it that quick. I mean, our governing authorities will give you everywhere without any kind of restrictions up to like 20 weeks, right? 20 weeks, 140 days, you know?
Give or take, yeah.
Like, is that math right? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a long time. So from the time you find out you're pregnant,
I have a friend who found out maybe like 3 weeks into her pregnancy.
yep,
Yeah, but she wanted a kid, so she's gonna have it.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I can't wait to be an aunt.
yeah. But if you find out,
But if I find out that I am bearing a child, I honestly really wouldn't care if I was considered
well, see,
a birth or
I'm
not.
going to pray that you grow up on that. But
Why-
I know you're saying
Why do you want me to have a child?
I don't want you to have a child, but I want you not to kill a child.
So you want me to have the child?
Well, if you have a child, you have a
And you don't
child.
want me to kill- You want me to have it?
No, if you have a child, I don't want you to choose to terminate them because that child is your child,
Yeah.
but they're my neighbor.
It's my child,
But if they're my neighbor,
but it's mine.
it's yours.
Yeah.
Well,
You
it's
just said it was mine.
yeah, your child is your progeny,
Yeah.
right? But if I'm to love my neighbor as I love myself,
Yeah.
when I apply the golden rule to your child,
Yeah.
I want to protect your child. And so the only thing I can do, and I don't think you're,
And for me to
I don't think you're
protect my child-
bloodthirsty, but what I'm saying is I can tell you,
I could be.
so I'm just some 40-year-old white male on your college campus. I can tell you
And
that-
I'm an 18-year-old child. I'm still
you're an
considered a
18-year-old young adult. But I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart, I pray and will remember to pray that if you are ever in that situation, this conversation happens and you say, you know what? Those Christians might have a point because you'll be a mother. And I'm saying that, sin is sin. Some sins are worse than others or whatever, but they all have the same general
Yeah.
consequence.
Yeah.
The different consequences on earth, like stealing a piece of gum, different consequence than like killing a person. But to God, there's separation from God. So I would pray that at some point in time in your life, you say, you know what, I do know that I'm a sinner, and I do know I have
I already know that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting a little-
Yeah, we all know we're imperfect, but I'm saying like to know that the sin that you have is separating you from God and that it's not something that He's unwilling to forgive. So I can say the only thing that I can do, because we may never ever talk again, unless like you do get saved and we're hanging out like thousands of years from now. But the only thing I can say to you is, hey, you know what? You're a nice person. You stopped and talked to me. I just hope that if you're ever in the situation where like the Spirit of God's like convicting you, that you put your sin at the foot of the cross and say, I'm not good enough to go to heaven, but
I'm not good enough to be a mother.
well, I'm not good enough to be a father, but I've got lots of kids.
Oh,
So, but I do my best.
well,
I-
good. Some
the-
people won't.
You know when you're changing like the fourth diaper
No.
in the night and you
I hope not.
and you're like, man, this is rough. I was watching
I don't.
Shia LaBeouf of all people talk about changing a diaper and the baby pooping on him while he's changing it, or pooping. It's like kids can be frustrating.
I've had puppies explode diarrhea on me. That's pretty
Yeah,
close, right?
yeah. So, but so it can be difficult to be a father, and I don't think that I'm perfect enough to always be perfect at that, but I try.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, when I screw up, I need my wife to tell me, or help from friends or from people at church or whatever. But I mean, it's not. The point is, it's not about being so good that God likes you. It's about recognizing that you're not really good enough, but somebody is, and that person's Jesus Christ. And he didn't screw up. He wasn't a bad anything. And yet he was murdered by nailing him to a cross and hanging him up in front of a bunch of people. And he did nothing. Well, that's like the punishment that he's experiencing is probably, well, it is exactly what I deserve for all the bad crap I've done. But when I die, I'm not trusting in me having done a lot of good things to where God's going to be like, yeah, come chill with me. God's going to look at me and say, did you hold on to your sin and say you were good enough? Or did you confess your sin and say, forgive me?
Okay, I don't want to get married either. So if I were to conceive a child, it's also a sin, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but I mean, you don't want to get married, you don't want to have a child. Like, what? Just outside of our conversation, you're very honest about your lack of a more charitable.
I love when y'all come around. I see a whole bunch of people. I love it. I love
Yeah.
talking to you guys.
No, it's good. It's good, man. Thanks, man. That guy's got style that I'll never have.
I see him walking around. He dresses so beautifully.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so what I'm saying is like the stuff that I said to you might go, or in your ear, or you've heard it a million times, or you just enjoy talking about it. But I actually believe that I'm interested in you becoming a Christian and knowing God and all that kind of stuff, and becoming a mother, and becoming married.
I have gone to church.
Yeah.
When I was little, but the problem with that church is I didn't feel like I was ready to be baptized, and my mom and brother did, and they tried to get me. They
obviously you were right.
Around me, and I was like 9 or 10, and people were just gathering around me trying to get me to go up there, and I was just like, no.
Yeah.
So I ran away crying, and I've never gone back to church.
Yeah. Well, that's rough. I mean, no one should get baptized unless they're ready to make a public profession of their faith and all that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the stuff that I'm saying to you, I'm interested in you being saved, but I think God is more interested than even I. And I'm going to forget that we even had this conversation at some point.
I probably will too.
Right? Yeah. It's just a human thing.
Happens.
But God's not going to forget. And I just pray that whatever part of this conversation is the thing that you need to hear in the future, sticks. Just doing my best.
If I start to conceive a child, and God comes down and whispers in my ear to keep it, I'll keep it.
You want God to come whisper in your ear?
Yeah, that's the only way I'm gonna have a kid.
You want him to send Gabriel? Like he's done that before, but that was with his son.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
But
if that happens,
I would suggest that the miracle that you're missing is that the child is being knit together in your womb.
Well, I don't want a child, so I don't consider that a miracle.
Oh, it doesn't matter if you consider it a miracle or not. It is a miracle.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
So
that's where you came from.
It doesn't. Well, my mother. I was an accident. My mother didn't.
Yeah, so was I. Yeah, I was a.
And she didn't do a very good job raising me.
Well,
Obviously.
but hey, I was poorly raised and not planned, but I don't use it as an excuse for any of the things that I do. I try to separate it,
I use that as an excuse to not be a mother because I don't want kids, and I know people's parents who didn't want them, and I didn't know how they turned out.
Do you ever tell
I
them?
know how they were.
Do you ever tell them I wish you were dead?
I know, but they sometimes wish they were.
Yeah, but I mean, that's basically your view, though.
That's their view as well.
That they wish they were dead?
That's the
well, they don't wish it very hard.
That's the children that the parents didn't want. That's them being born.
What's that?
That's them.
Well,
them,
but that gets us back to where we first started.
grew up
if the real key to helping people was just killing them before they had bad experiences, then we would all just be on the Hitler train and start killing people.
Maybe.
Because
That's
that's
what the world needs.
yeah, and there are people who
I mean, God's gonna come down and do that anyways, isn't he?
well, yeah, but he's so
Supposed
patient.
to. He's supposed to.
Well, that's like a little wooden
But
explanation
that's
of it.
Fine. That's okay.
Well, God is like being super
Right.
super patient, right?
Oh yeah, he's
Like
being very
like look at like
Personally, I think he should come down right now.
if God meteorited this place right now, he'd probably stop, a number of rapes and a number of murders but the thing is God's like, he knows we're all really sinful, and he's like patient and waiting for more people to repent.
But we're getting worse.
So it's like, you didn't die last night, so we could have this conversation,
Yeah.
in my view.
I'm always kind of happy that I wake up in the morning.
I'm always kind of happy that I wake up in the morning, but ultimately we know that you do value being alive more than being
I love
unalive.
it. I mean, I can't do anything if I'm not alive.
Exactly.
But if I die tomorrow, tonight,
Well, that guy's a. Is that your friend?
no, I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was just
gonna
gonna want to say,
was like,
thanks for being out here.
Hey, yeah,
I
what's your name,
appreciate
man?
having- Frank. I
Frank.
just appreciate having a guy that's not like, one of the bad faith people that's just screaming obscenities and trying to,
Yeah.
That's why I like
Yeah. There's a.
like you're actually.
Y'all have a problem with the shock jock street preacher guy who just
it
calls
doesn't
people
work
out?
anymore because the people that come out to heckle him are way more gross and weird. But
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that this is like a high value production, like put together, like actually like
Yeah. No, thanks. I'm
legit thing.
sometimes I'm like, man, I just spent 80 hours drawing the cover of this dang thing, but then I'm like, oh,
It's worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it.
if it'll get someone to stop or get someone to not throw it away,
Right.
is what I'm thinking. But you've never seen our stuff?
I've seen your stuff on TikTok. I was in there
Oh,
studying,
TikTok.
and I'm like, are you the guy from TikTok? I gotta come
Yeah,
see
I
you.
got my silly hat on. What is it?
Is it good? Because you two are never gonna know what it's like to carry your child.
No, we're not.
No, but my wife will. So why does
Yeah.
that matter?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your point?
Yeah, what's the? Do you have like so you're saying I have to be in the
She's
position?
begging me to have kids right now, bro. I don't know
Oh,
what
you
you're
have
talking
a,
about.
you have a wife right
Yes.
now? Well,
You're just begging me
Well,
every day.
no,
I'm like, no,
the
guys.
logic of what you're saying, just so you can think through it, you say, you'll never know what it feels like to carry a child. So in your view, it's the woman that's oppressed if you take away her right to abortion. So you're saying, I have to be able to be in the place of the oppressed person to stand up for them or something like that.
well, yeah, you have to have their
So-
mindset. You have to think like them.
So I know, but like white abolitionists who were not slaveholders did not have the right to tell slaveholders that what they were doing is wrong, on your logic.
Well, you have to think like them.
Maybe
well-
you're
You have
saying
to, you
if
have
they're
to
not-
have their point of view.
If you're
Right.
not
Just
black,
as
then
much
you can't be like you gotta be racist. Like how does that make sense?
So that's,
If you're not black, you can't
Right,
be
you're saying,
opposing
like, if
racism.
you're not black, then that means you can't be against racism. That's the same argument you just made. You can't be against racism. Yeah, same as if you're not a woman, you can't be against abortion.
I didn't say that.
It's the same logical thinking.
I said that sign
So
is
here's the deal.
Anyway, I just want to say.
Just
thank you. I gotta go
hey,
see.
it's good talking to you. What you're saying, there's a certain amount that's true.
yeah.
Like I will
Like,
never.
Obviously, you and your lover has children.
Yeah,
right?
we've
But
had.
ultimately, it wasn't your decision to have them. It was hers.
Well, we chose together, but I
Well,
see what you're
yeah,
saying.
but
But
like, if she
um,
didn't have them.
so we have one child that we, didn't, we weren't thinking, a baby's going to come,
Baby, yeah.
and so we have an unplanned child, but we
then
did
you
the
loved them and
thing.
had 3
We did the thing that made the child exist. So it's always possible, but it was a surprise child, right? And we've also had 2 children. I've lost 2 children to miscarriage. So at about that stage of that sign or a little before, 6 to 8 weeks,
I wasn't saying that the guy shouldn't be involved in the child or the child's life, but ultimately it is our choice to have the child. And
Well, but you already
guys
have the child.
You guys are.
You already have the child. What you need to start saying is it's our choice to murder the child, because you already have the child. The child's already there.
Okay, it's our choice to have an abortion because you consider
Yeah.
abortion murder.
Yeah, abortion is murder technically, and usually it occurs because the person with malice of forethought, that is, they want the person not to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Because they don't want them to grow big enough to where they have to raise them. So kill them as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So at this, that's a drawing, but that's an actual picture right there. So that's maybe 11 weeks. No, there's a murdered one, but then there's a living one. See the sign? Yeah, that's at the same stage of development. It's first trimester. So, but it is not. Well, I mean, murderers shouldn't look pretty. I mean, you can do it sterile and stuff, but usually the reason we have the signs to show it is so people know what they're talking about. But if you did it even earlier, it's less bloody, but it's still, in our view, killing a human. So like, I believe that humans have rights, and I believe in equal universal rights for human rights.
We all believe in that.
No, you don't believe in that.
Well, yeah.
You
I don't like kids. So.
You already told me
Like
that you don't like kids to the
little one
point
right
that you
there,
would
I
murder.
kinda moved away.
Are you pretending on some of that, or you just?
I mean, they're cute.
Well, yeah, but they
I'm so gross.
just like you were when you were a kid.
Exactly. I was disgusted. I'm so I am. Freaking. I'll play in some dirt too. I'll
Yeah.
roll over myself if I have to.
Yeah.
I just don't find any part of the child. Like, I don't even like the ones walking around.
Yeah, but good
I
thing.
don't like people.
The good thing is, I don't think our culture is perfect, but it is a good thing that people with your view are not running it all.
Yeah.
Because
But
I'm
people
afraid
with
we
your
would.
view should have run it at all.
No,
Not at
you would
all.
think my view would be scary, but my view would basically just be saying love everybody. It's not that scary.
But
Do unto
there are
others
Christians
as you would
who are
have them do unto
homophobic,
you.
Who are sexist, who are racist.
Like scared of homosexuals? I don't know anyone who's scared of homosexuals.
I know a lot of people. I have
That are
friends
scared?
who are part of the LGBTQ
That are
community. And
There's people that are scared of them.
no, those people are scared of Christians.
Oh, why? Well, I know they kind
Because
of
of you know,
they grind it
the
up.
whole like what is it like stereotypes with Christians? How they hate gay people. And
Well, yeah, they
like,
make that up.
like
It's
clear.
not hateful. Like
They
so.
they make that up.
Well, some people hate, but I'm saying the general idea that Christians hate homosexuals isn't true.
Yeah, the general.
The Christians who don't tell homosexuals that what they're doing is sinful and not what God wants, they're the hateful ones.
They are the hateful ones.
Be-
They should
Well, let me say it slower. The Christians who don't tell homosexuals that what they're doing is wrong are the hateful ones. Because the person who's a Christian who says, I believe the Bible. And the Bible basically says that, like, here's the thing that I designed, man and woman, male and female, equal, have babies. This is the way it's supposed to be. I designed it this way. And so God is very clear. He's like, when you're in rebellion, you sin against God, sometimes a culture begins to be where the men lie with men, the women lie with women. And Christians believe the Bible, and they say, this is what God says. But then they go, you know what? People in my culture don't like this, so I'm not going to say it because I value being seen as loving.
Yes.
Well, that's unloving because they're not telling the truth. So you have to be loving when you tell people the truth. But
You're gonna tell them that what they are is wrong.
yeah, just like say I was racist.
We wouldn't be talking to you.
Right. But say I was. And you telling me that I need to stop being a racist would not be unloving. It would not be unloving for you to correct someone. But see, racism is something that we all agree is bad. But say the homosexual is bad, and the Christian who chooses not to tell them the truth because they don't want to be seen as a bigot is not being loving. They're being unloving because they're withholding the truth. It's like if I told you that you were safe and that when you die, everything is going to be fine, don't even think about any of the stuff I'm talking about. If I believe opposite that, I'm lying to you so that we can be friends. And that's not loving.
If you telling me that you were a Christian, if you didn't tell me that you were a Christian, that would be lying.
Or if I didn't tell you what I believe. Like, so I really do believe that if people die and they are trying to get good enough to go to heaven on their own works, they're going to be separated from God, and that is hell. And if I believe that, and I tell you, you're good, you're fine, I'm doing something really unloving to you. Because I'm not sharing with you the truth that I think is ultimate truth. And so with the homosexual thing, same deal. Some people think that the Christians who say homosexuality is a sin because that's what the Bible reveals, they're unloving.
Yeah.
Well, they're the only ones telling the truth.
Yeah.
The ones that are running around and saying,
May I ask why?
Yep.
Why do you believe in a book so
book? Well, it's not really that it's a book. I
No, it is a book.
believe that God created the heavens and the earth and people, and there's a bunch of history here, and that He has revealed Himself to us in a certain amount in nature and in our moral conscience and all that, but also has decided, I want to reveal myself further in written text. So He's moved people to write stuff, and here's my law, here's my teaching, and we were able to record the things He said when He was here in the flesh, Jesus Christ. I believe God reveals Himself to us. So the idea that God has revealed Himself, of course I value that book more than I value all the books by people revealing themselves.
Yeah.
So
Why do you put? I thought like Jesus didn't want or God or either or. Oh, sorry, I was reading this. Oh my God.
it's intense, right? Don't like slavery, don't buy a slave. Have you ever thought about saying something like that? Don't like
kids, don't have them.
don't like abortion, don't get one.
Don't get one.
Like-
Exactly.
But according to the sign, that's exactly what slave owners said. You don't like slaves, don't own them. So it's like you're saying the things exactly what we say is the problem. That people value themselves more than they value other people, and doing. Hey, thanks, man.
Is that bad? That I value myself more than other people?
If it goes to murdering, you should value everybody else as much as you value yourself, just to that limit. You don't have to do more for other, but do for other people what you would want done for you.
But I put myself first. I'm before anybody.
Then you should put other people first too.
What are we talking about here?
Right now, we've gone the gamut. But we started with just talking about my sign and whether it's true.
And then we were starting to talk about that side.
What do you think? It's been fun to talk to you.
Thank you.
Are you mad? Are you default mad? Are you worried?
What does that mean?
Well,
What the verbiage you're using?
You walked up and
default
you walked up and you were like, "What are we talking about here?"
Yeah,
You didn't look
yeah,
happy.
I'm just-
It's like
I'm curious.
I'm not aggressive. So
I'm curious why you're here.
we are abolitionists. We're Christian abolitionists of abortion, and so we're just talking to
Not for
people.
abortion, but I'm a Christian.
What you're not? What? No, we're not for abortion.
Oh no, yeah, I understand.
You're a Christian for abortion.
I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I have a personal relationship with Him.
Okay.
I believe you should harm people.
Yes.
But are you a health professional? Like,
No, I'm the worst of the worst. I'm an artist.
okay. Well, I mean, every situation is different. Every woman,
What do you-
every pregnancy is different. It's
So-
not just a
So slow down for me.
law.
Slow down for me, because I can talk to her in one way because she's not a Christian and she doesn't say to be a Christian. So we have two different worldviews.
Sure.
You and I have the same worldview.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I claim to follow Jesus Christ and know Him personally
Sure.
as you do. I believe that God has revealed Himself to us. That's what we were talking about, like in the Bible and in nature and in
I was
moral law and that
questioning
sort of
why he believed so much in the book.
And I do think it's a theological belief. I don't hide this. Like, we're not like pro-lifers. We're like, oh, you don't. I believe it's a theological belief that man's made in the image of God. By man, I do mean men and women. But I believe that human beings are made in the image of God, and that is why there is a prohibition to murdering them, because you're attacking God
Pause.
when you kill the human.
We're spirits. We all have something in us that's a great
And flesh.
mystery that we don't know how to explain. Well, what is this? What exists inside of us that's experiencing?
Yeah, we have like a body and a soul
Yeah,
type
like
thing.
what is that?
Sure.
So I think that is God working through us.
Well, so you have a personal relationship with Jesus, but there's also a spirit inside you that is God that's working.
Yeah. Aren't we all God? Aren't we made in His image?
No, I think we're made in His image, but I'm not God. My name is Russell. I live in Norman, and I'm a sinner, and I will be
The Father,
separated
the
from God.
Son, and the Holy Spirit are all one. So does the Holy Spirit work through you and touch
The Holy
people's
Spirit,
lives?
I think the Holy Spirit works through people, and I think the Holy Spirit works on people. I don't think I'm the Holy Spirit, though.
I'm not saying you're the Holy Spirit.
Our
I'm
God.
saying the Holy Spirit works through you. Just
Well,
like
I
God
know.
works through you.
Sure.
And allows you to touch
Okay.
other people.
Well, we can move on
That's
because I'm not
the
God.
point
You're
I'm
not
trying
God,
to
right?
reach.
You're not God.
That's not what I said.
You're not God, and I'm not God.
That's not what I said.
We agree.
That was your perception of it, yeah.
Okay, but we agreed on that.
Yeah.
So when I say that human beings are image bearers of God,
Right.
like when he made humans, he said, I've made you in my image. And then after the flood, this is like very first time he said anything about this. It was like, he probably said something before, but this is the first time it's recorded in human history. I don't want you guys murdering each other all the time. So if you murder one another, you forfeit your life. Why? Because man's made in the image of God.
Okay.
So
you're
that's a
saying
theological
that
belief.
All
humans.
non-regulated abortion should be out the window. Shouldn't be allowed to
Yeah.
happen. Why?
All,
Because of your religion?
no, if my religion was false, I wouldn't expect it to be binding on everyone.
Take a woman that was born in a completely different place than you, that has a different name, that has a different story, children, that can get pregnant.
Okay.
You're saying that we don't
So-
have any laws that in Oklahoma that are exceptions for rape and incest.
Well,
So if
I'm not a pro-lifer, so I don't generally believe in all the weird laws.
Do you know the laws on abortion?
I know all the laws, and I know all the laws.
So did you know that?
I'm a legislative lobbyist. I know all of the laws that have been passed, and I know what you can and can't do. But right now, so you're telling me.
There
So
are
I had
no
asked
laws
her.
exceptioning incest
So-
and rape
Okay,
in Oklahoma.
sure. We
Do you
remember
remember when I said I had a reason why I don't want to be a mother?
because you don't
remember
like
when I said that?
you don't like kids.
No.
Is what you
I was sexually assaulted by my father
Yeah.
since the time I was around 2 to maybe
Yeah, you did say that earlier.
14, 15, maybe like freshman.
Yeah.
Impact
around
that
the
has
stop.
on you sexually.
Did he get incarcerated for that?
No, he did it.
Did y'all
Were you
try?
able to were you able to tell anybody about this?
Because you should, and he should get
I,
punished for it. Because I do
it-
believe there should be laws against that.
We did go to court for it my freshman year, but nothing really happened.
Yeah, it sucks.
He,
My dad's
destroyed
my
all the
dad's very
evidence,
similar.
Really, there was a camera that I could have gotten. There was an iPad. There was
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
That's my point. That's why I don't want kids.
I'm saying that isn't evil. That isn't evil, and I agree with you. And you should punish
That's
the
what I was
evil.
trying to tell him,
You should punish the
is that
evildoer.
There are. God, why am I crying? I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I don't mean to like.
She's displaying her virtue, so take the
There
opportunity.
are women, and there are
I can
girls
explain it.
who go through that. I had a pregnancy scare
Mm-hmm.
when I was like 9. My father thought he got me pregnant,
Yeah, bastard.
and he gave me he gave me a pill.
Right.
Do you understand?
I
the
do.
impact that had on me? Like right now,
I not
I'm
only
terrified
let
of
me
having kids.
and that sucks, but that's because of an evil thing that was done to you. Right? Do you believe that I believe that is an evil thing that was done to you?
but there are children who now have to bear those kids. There are kids
Right.
having kids now
I say
because of something like this.
something like this. No, this part is this is against your
This.
father. Your father was treating you like a sex object, and then when you were impregnated, was going to force you to take a pill, but you weren't pregnant apparently.
I don't know if
I've actually edited a.
Years old, you would have been able to healthily carry a baby and take care of it.
She said that
Did
she
you have
she said that
any
she
money
didn't
of your own?
conceive.
I did.
But if it would have happened
Hold on a second.
when you were raped, you would have had no money of your own, no means. Your father would have still been telling you what to do.
Because I was sexually assaulted
Hey.
for a long time. I actually started my period when I was around 7, so I could have carried a child at
Yeah.
9 years old.
But you didn't. And when you came out and talked to me at first,
But she
which she was
could.
actually,
But
listen,
it
listen,
happens to
she was
other
very
children.
kind and we were talking fine. I don't know why you wanted to be antagonistic. I am not antagonistic, so you can
What
kind
makes
of calm
you-
down.
I think that I'm
I was
antagonizing.
trying to get you to look
Well,
at the point
yeah.
of the woman.
No, but see, I understand that point. I actually have edited a book by a 13-year-old who has your actual story. But she did, her father, it was her stepfather, did impregnate her and forced her to take a pill at like 11. And then again at like 13. But instead of taking the pill, because she writes about this in her book. Her name's Anna Ritchie. It's called I Am the Exception. She actually didn't take the pill, and she waited because her mom wouldn't believe that what was happening. And then when she showed mom the baby bump, then she believed. And that stepfather is still in prison, and that child, because she has an abortion and she has a baby that she raised it.
Have had a child just to prove
No,
the point.
I know, but the thing is that 13-year-old girl did with her mom raise that child, and I know them both.
And that makes it
And that's
all
okay.
right.
It's not
So
what I'm saying.
that's okay.
That's not my argument. My argument is
What
one. Just let me do two things. One,
cheers.
now, I don't think answering evil with evil is best,
Okay.
and I think we can work towards better, even in the worst situations. Secondly, I find it disingenuous and just evil when someone argues from that situation, but really they believe abortion is okay in any situation,
Listen, babe.
which is what she has already told me. So you can't argue the reason abortion is okay because of the 9-year-old or the 13-year-old.
No,
just
I'm
trying to-
talking about 16-year-old me that got pregnant by my boyfriend and had an abortion because that was the best option for me at the time. What the fuck was I gonna do with the baby?
Well, you would have probably needed some
No.
help and love, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
no,
That's
sure,
fine.
which wasn't there.
Sure, but see, so if we're total strangers, and I'm not trying to.
Not everyone has the options that you think they have.
No,
It's
you're
not-
right.
It's not one size fits all.
You're right, but I'm telling you
You're
from.
right, but
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just sharing you my view.
Well,
We live in a culture where you're supposed to let people speak
I
their
know,
truth.
I know.
Okay.
You're saying you're right.
No.
but
Let me
it's
not
just
tell
you're
you I'm right.
contradicting.
Let me not tell you I'm right. Let me tell you, here is the deal. I recognize that we live in a culture where all sorts of different people are all sorts of different levels of how much they can bear and what's happening to them and all that kind of stuff. What an abolitionist would suggest is that the laws against murder that protect all of us simply be applied to all members of the human species.
You know, it's a sensitive thing for everyone.
And then we try to figure out how to make it work.
You think for a mother it's not a hard fucking choice? You think
No, I think it's really hard.
No,
I think what you did at that point in time in your life has actually affected you from that moment all the way till now. I think you're carrying it right now while we're talking. And I'm thinking this is a
That
sin.
was very
No,
insensitive to
it's
say.
very real. I'm being very honest, but I think it's a thing that's rather than to say it's good, is to say it's a sin and that you set it before Christ instead of saying, I'm okay. Because Christ does forgive people. So you think that that's harsh, but the reality is she's claiming that it's not a bad thing.
For some people.
But she came up and the first thing she told me was that she was a Christian.
And I'm sure she is.
She certainly claims to be a Christian.
I just
I'm
want
not
you to look
denying
at the
that.
point of the woman who's already here.
But she's,
The child who's already here.
The-
That's all I want.
but there's 2 children, and if we can try to figure out how to love them
And
both,
so
that
we
would be
have
good.
to- That would be amazing. But
So-
a child should have a child.
Right, you're right. A child shouldn't have a child. So a 16-year-old girl having a child that she's not ready to love at 16, you are right in agreeing with the Christian that shouldn't happen. A 16-year-old outside of marriage shouldn't be making a baby. That's what you just said. The problem is what you mean is she should be allowed to kill the baby if she does make one. Well, that's what she said she did.
You're doing the same thing you were doing to me earlier.
I'm
But
try-
you
well, I'm
didn't
trying
do
to-
this when she was here.
Well, I'm trying to ferret out what you're saying. Like so the 16-year-old girl, you say that a child shouldn't have a child, but by have a child, you mean give birth to one.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that a 16-year-old girl who's having sexual intercourse with her boyfriend is choosing to have a child. And then when they realize, oh, I have a child, and I don't want to take care of them, terminating them. So get your argument to be straight and say, people in all these different circumstances should have the right to terminate their children. And then what you'll find is that the argument that you use to justify why it's okay to terminate a child in your womb turns out might justify terminating a child when they're 2. Because some people will say, you know why I had to terminate this child? Because I did not have the resources necessary to take care of them.
And some people have that child not having the resources, and they're probably going to die.
What if you had your baby, and then and you had all your money in some kind of stock, and it went bust, and all of a sudden you don't have the resources? Can you kill your 2-year-old? No.
No.
Because it is
But
murder.
You already basically raised them. You're stopping.
I'm just saying
what does that have to do with?
I'm saying the argument you're using to justify abortion, you got to listen to that argument.
You need to
And-
listen
and
to
see
the
if-
other side as well. It's not
no,
just about
the other
child.
side,
It's also the woman.
your view is the
The
dominant
reason
view
why
of the
I'm
culture.
so-
I'm
the
I'm
reason
aware
why
of it.
I'm so against abortion is because it takes away choice.
You're so against.
It takes away freedom.
You mean abolition?
Abortion.
You said the reason you're against
Abortion.
abortion.
I wish I would have been aborted.
Nah, that's not true. That's actually not true, bud. It's just something you say when you don't know how to stop and talk.
Don't listen to him.
Okay, so you don't like me. We were having a fine
Well,
conversation, but now you're yelling, don't listen to him.
I
So
never-
it's
I
okay.
never
It's okay.
liked you.
Okay, that's
We
fine.
were having a discussion.
That's fine. I like you just fine. I am going to pray that some part of
You
it,
like me because you're a Christian, right? You have to.
I might like you even if I wasn't, but I mean, I just generally don't dislike people very much. No, it's not natural. Some people are very, very natural to hate other people, but
Yeah,
that's a personal
I
thing,
follow
though.
naturally.
it probably has to do with my Christianity. You're probably right. But
Just like your views.
I'm just, everyone's views are based in something, what they believe.
What are my views based on? Not being a Christian?
Well, yeah, to some extent. Yeah, I mean, you don't agree with me that humans have rights because of what they are.
And you don't agree that women should have rights?
Oh, I believe women should have rights, just not the right to murder.
Okay.
No woman, no man, no one should have the right to terminate an innocent human being. Men or women. Like, it's not a women's rights thing for me. It's a humans should not be
No,
terminated
it's
by
a
other humans
woman's right.
unless the human's like a
They're the ones
murderer.
carrying.
Huh?
They're the ones carrying. They're going through that. You,
Yeah.
all the men here, stick
Yep.
your dick in and shoot it out. That's all you do.
But that's bad if that's all you do. But I mean, I
Well,
understand what you're saying.
Is the woman gonna do that to you? Are you gonna carry the child in your?
No,
You
but
don't even have
but if
the-
it was flipped, do you
the
believe?
resources.
If it was flipped, I'd be out here saying, "Men, stop murdering your babies in your wombs." If it was biologically flipped, that's not how it is biologically.
And-
Although,
and-
wait
okay,
a second.
so let's
Just
say-
on the side note, do you think that only women can be pregnant?
Anyone who has a uterus can be pregnant.
But do you think someone without a uterus can be a woman?
That's not up to me to decide. It's none of my business. It's none of your business if someone has a kid and decide to get an abortion.
Okay, I just like to know whether I'm talking to someone who's like trying to be consistent. I think for the most part, you're trying to be consistent.
Consistent with what?
Just across the board, like with your view. Like you said at one point in time, I can't talk about this because I'm not a woman or something, because I can't understand what it's like to carry a child or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that thing over there.
But then if I said, listen, I feel, and I've always felt, that I'm a woman, and though I don't have a uterus, you know,
If you feel like a woman.
I mean, you know, there's people like that.
I feel masculine sometimes.
But if I did do that, then could I talk about abortion?
Are you gonna
See?
carry a child?
No, I'm not. I am
It's
I carry
okay,
children all the
let's
time,
not say women,
but
let's
not
say
inside my body.
The person bearing a child. Let's say that. Just the person bearing a child.
Mm-hmm.
They have a choice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm just being honest with you. I don't think that among their choices should be malice, aforethought, murder. I just think that is a choice that I think it's something that we've legalized because we don't believe in
Legalized for
human rights.
consistence.
We don't believe in human rights. Our culture is radically opposed to the idea that human beings are valuable because of what they are.
What do you think about the death sentence then?
Yeah, that's a consistent view with it.
Do you agree with that?
Like if you're a murderer, you jeopardize your life, you forfeit life. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's because I believe that a human being cannot murder another human being. When you murder other human beings,
So if I were to get an
the
abortion,
governing authorities,
then I could get the death sentence now.
the only way that would happen is it just,
It's
we're talking
probably
about the
on way.
future.
We're probably on the way to that.
Well, that would be good for all those babies, but
The baby's already dead.
no, in the future. So
You have to get an
now listen.
abortion in order to get the death sentence because
Right.
that's what the
So
law
in the
would be.
future, say in Oklahoma, the lawmakers got courageous enough to like pass laws that were consistent with what they say in their Sunday school classes. And they said, you know what, abortion's murder, and I believe in the death penalty because, you know, God established the death penalty.
God did? He established the death penalty?
Yeah, well, he said that if anyone who sheds the blood of an innocent human being by man, their blood shall be shed. And then explains governing authorities, the one thing they have a job
Does that
to bear a sword.
blood, right? In it? It's
Well,
blood.
it's kind of poetic. There is blood.
Flesh, blood, and bones.
Yeah, you don't have.
In that baby.
You can murder people without disturbing their blood, but the point is,
Bones?
you can murder people without hurting their bones. But here's what. But let's track.
No, but that it doesn't even have bones.
Yeah.
People are flesh, blood, bones.
Yeah. No, your bones begin to develop around that stage. Yeah. There's bones. Yeah, there's bones. Little bitty soft bones. Your bones. All of your bones begin
They're
to.
probably not exactly bones yet.
Yeah, scientifically speaking, all of your organs and body parts are there in their earliest forms at about 9 weeks. They just grow from 9 weeks on. But in the event that they passed a law saying this is murder, if you do it, you'll get the death penalty. In that culture, if they passed that law, made it known, and then you willingly set yourself out to go break that law, then got caught and then got put on trial, and it was proved that you broke the law saying if you break this you get the death penalty, then you'd get the death penalty. But we're nowhere near that. We're more, if you really read our laws actually say, the pro-lifers up at the Capitol, they actually say people aren't allowed to provide abortion services, but women are allowed to abort their babies and they have immunity. That's what our law says. And I think the law saying that empowers and enables people just to kill their babies all the time. I think we got 5,000 abortions a year, even after Roe v. Wade was repealed.
Yeah, and they're probably all very unsafe.
No, they're all unsafe for the baby, yes.
They're all unsafe for the woman. Why won't you look at the woman?
Well, no, they're not unsafe for the women. I studied it.
No, there are abortions that are
Here, do you want to
unsafe
get
for
on?
the woman.
Sure, but do you want to get on Planned Parenthood's website?
No.
Just go to a pro-abortion website. Go to a pro-abortion,
I can try.
right? And then so there's a website called Plan C, and it tells you how to order pills.
I'll
If
actually
you-
go to a health professional.
Well, this is a health professional. This is your side. I'm talking about your side.
No, I'll go to my health professional.
Okay, your side's health professionals claim that self-managed abortion in your own home, ordering pills even from like India, is safe. That's what they claim.
Okay.
And I'm not arguing abortion's wrong because it's harmful to the mother. That's not why abortion's wrong.
I know you're not looking at like the person that's already here
I think it's
at all.
harmful to her soul and her spirit and all that.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, there was a girl right here. She walked away when you told her something so insensitive about herself.
It was.
She shared that with you.
Listen,
and-
she shared it as a weapon.
because you're not going to listen otherwise.
She
I
shared.
had to say my story so it could get across from you.
Listen.
And it's still not registering. in
No,
your mind.
no. It is registering enough.
No, it's
I'm just
not.
being
It's
very
not
honest.
registering enough.
No, it's not making me decide that murder's okay in the womb. And
No,
so
I
therefore,
don't want you to
your
decide
story
that. I'm
registers.
not going to try and change your
I think you were mistreated, abused, and evil was done to you, and he wanted you to actually like help in the process of covering it up. I think it was all bad, and I wish the guy was, incarcerated for life or even
have actually
put away.
had a child, I would have had to have it.
I don't
you
know.
think that's okay?
No, I don't.
Even if he.
Unfortunately,
if my
I
father
don't know.
would've
I
helped
bet
me,
you, if you're talking about 9, the likelihood that you would have had a miscarriage was actually very high.
It probably would have
But
killed me. It would have harmed my body.
Well,
if
I wouldn't
that
be
happened,
opposed to like removing the dead child from your body. That's not what I think.
That's fine.
I don't
You
think
know
that's an
very
abortion.
harmful to a woman, right?
What?
If she conceived a child that was like already passed, already dead.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not opposed to
It harms
that.
her. It harms her mentally. It can harm her physically.
Yeah, I've lost 2 children. My wife.
Yeah,
yes,
you're-
I know. I'm aware, but what I'm saying is like removing a child that's died of natural causes in the womb, and when you're talking about 9-year-olds that are pregnant, that is unfortunately more common that a 9-year-old's going to miscarriage than a 19-year-old.
I just.
But I'm saying when she brings up her story And I'm willing, because I will never talk to her again. And I don't know, maybe I will, but I do not know the trajectory of that whole thing. But somebody somewhere saying this is a sin that Christ will forgive, but if you don't call it sin and you don't say forgive me for it, you're owning it. She owns it, but she says she's a Christian.
I own it as well.
Well, but you told me you haven't aborted a baby.
No, but I will. I would.
You're planning to.
I'm not planning to get pregnant. That's
Okay.
why I'm on birth control.
Okay. Well, but in
But
the
I-
in the knowledge that the
technically, I
birth
guess,
control can be
failed.
abortifacient.
Yeah. So that's
And if
like,
you-
what is that? Attempted? Not attempted.
It's
It would be what is it? When you're thinking of doing a murder.
well, it's a form of manslaughter. Maybe you're thinking about.
No, I think it's a different.
It's like you're hunting and you're in the woods and the bushes are shuffling and you shoot into the bushes,
No, it's like
not knowing
you
if it's
make
human.
you make a plan to murder someone, and like the plan's all over your walls, and the police go in there. And
Yeah,
they're like,
malice
oh,
and
you're planning
malice
a
of
murder.
forethought. Yeah,
Yeah, something
planning a
like
murder.
that. Malicious intent. Malicious intent.
Yeah,
that's what
the malice part.
Yeah, the malice.
Yeah, it's usually some people plan it out really elaborately. Some people murder people like in an instant, you know, because of rage or something. But I'm not planning to murder anyone ever.
Good for you.
Um,
And if your wife decided that 4 children is enough,
well, my wife's not planning to murder any of her kids.
not your kids, not
she's
the
not-
ones that are here now.
Well, she's not planning to murder any future kids.
Okay.
Like my wife is not.
So
My wife doesn't
you-
believe
you
that murder is
said-
okay.
You said that she had
Miscarriage. We've had 2 miscarriages.
there are some states that would
Nah, that's just
have
myth.
arrested
That's not true.
your,
That's just like
your wife.
that's like something you read on BuzzFeed or something. That's not true.
It's not true.
No, they don't arrest people for having miscarriages. Now, if somebody,
They could. We're
Hey,
leading to that.
well, if somebody
If it's
aborts
not-
their baby and
that's
calls it
murder.
a miscarriage, then you might have to investigate it. That's okay. What? Causing a miscarriage?
A miscarriage? That in others' eyes, that's murder. Your wife
No.
would be condemned for that.
No. You got to stop telling me
And you gotta
what
stop
to.
telling me what to
But you're
think
telling.
as well.
No, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I think and that you should think about it. But what I'm saying is, it's actually not a fact that there is any state or
I
any
never
people
said
like
I
me
said
that
there
want
are
to punish
some-
people for
there
miscarriage.
Are some that think, and we're leading into that direction. We're already almost there.
You think that, so I am an advocate of abolition. I'm at of all the people in the world, I am with the abolitionists of abortion who want to criminalize abortion as murder. And I do not want to, and in no way, shape, or form advocate or know anyone who holds my position who advocates punishing people for miscarriage. If I decide, if they
But
elect
people
me to
can
write all the
differentiate
laws
the two.
in the whole world, what you're saying is about to happen won't happen. I'm the most extreme
I'm
radical on this
scared
thing.
that it's gonna happen. I'm scared that they're.
You
they're
think
gonna
someone
just-
more radical than
I'm
me is gonna
scared
like
that they're
pass
just-
this law?
They're just gonna delete abortion, and we're gonna have 9-year-olds running around with 2-year-olds. We're
No,
gonna
no.
have 16-year-olds running around with the same. They're gonna be like friends or whatever.
Well, I do think
scared
we should
that-
increase our. I do think we should increase our policing and prosecution of rape.
Maybe.
Rapists
if the
love
world
this
was a
abortion
better
stuff.
place, I'd like to have a kid. But at the moment,
Yeah.
if I have to worry about my child getting raped by their own father, if I have to worry about my child getting raped walking down the street,
You have to,
I'm not going to bring a child into this
yeah.
world.
So if I worried about someone murdering my child, the best thing to do is just murder them before that happens. It's kind of
Well,
what
they're
you're
going to
saying.
get murdered either way, right?
No.
The answer
You don't
said.
predict what bad things are going to happen to people and then help them by killing them first.
Well, that's true.
That's really,
but
it's really a crap way to treat people. What's up, man?
I was just looking.
Yeah.
So, what are your views on abortion?
Christian.
Yeah, I am a Christian, and my views on abortion flow from that. I don't hide that. But
You can take it from me.
anyway,
I gotta go.
see you later. Thank you for talking.